From Arkansas's breaking news leader, Fox 16 News at 5:30 starts now.
Little Rock police solve a bank robbery within minutes of the crime. Good evening. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Officers were called to Arvest Bank on Capitol and Broadway this afternoon, and that's where we find Fox 16's Brittany Johnson. So they caught this guy in a matter of minutes, but how did they track him down so fast, Brittany?
Well, Kevin, as soon as police got to the scene here at Arvest Bank, all they had to do was walk a couple of 100 feet up the same sidewalk, up the same block, and they found the suspect. They say that he was just sitting there and appeared to be waiting to be arrested. Little Rock police escorted 34-year-old Carl Derek Willis to a patrol car this afternoon, but they say a few hours before that, he walked into this Arvest Bank downtown and simply told the teller, quote, "This is a stick-up." They told him. The teller then handed over the money. We're told that that is protocol here for them to go ahead and comply with the robber's wishes. We're told that he then walked out of the bank. Police found him with his book bag. They tell us that he did not resist arrest, and he also did not brandish a weapon, but his behavior was still pretty alarming and possibly very dangerous.
Whenever you have an incident like this, you don't know what to expect. It's a possibility, although he didn't display a weapon, you don't know what the individual is capable of.
Willis is now facing felony theft of property charges along with felony aggravated robbery charges. Police say again this is really unusual for them to see someone who apparently wanted to be caught. So far they do know that he's from El Dorado and there's a very good chance that he is homeless. Live from downtown Little Rock, Brittany Johnson, Fox 16 News.
I tell you what, Brittany, I mean, anytime somebody walks into a bank and says this is a stick-up, you obviously have to take it seriously. I mean, was anybody hurt even though he didn't show a weapon, and how did people react to it?
No one here was hurt. We talked to a manager here at the bank. He says they like to tell everyone gets to go home today. So despite having that somewhat scary incident, they are grateful that no one was hurt. He didn't have a weapon, but there was a bit of commotion. He said that he's proud of his people, that they followed protocol and they got police on the scene and did exactly what they were supposed to do here. We're told only 2 customers were inside at the time. Yeah,
these tellers, they train all the time for situations just like this. Glad to hear no one was hurt. Thanks, Brittany.
Well, today, nearly 30 tenants at a West Little Rock apartment complex try to salvage what they can after fire tore through their units last night. Fire investigators are still looking into the cause of that blaze at the Out in the Woods apartment complex. Fox 16's Dustin Barnes caught up with tenants preparing for the next phase.
At first glance, it looks like moving day at Out in the Woods apartments. But when you see the charred structure and police tape, it's apparent that fire handed these residents an eviction notice.
I'm just grateful that she was here and it wasn't a late night while they were asleep.
Billy Ellison came to help his sister get all she could out of her apartment, but after all the smoke and water damage, she doesn't know what she'll be able to use.
She's good because she has insurance and some of the stuff will be replaceable, and fortunately we're able to save some of her family portraits.
The cause of the fire is still a mystery, and one that could take days, perhaps weeks, to figure out. Firefighters had a battle on their hands. The hot temperature and the even hotter blaze forced 2 firefighters to go to the hospital.
I rushed over here to see what happened. I couldn't even see my apartment at first.
When Thomas Jesperson finally saw the place he called home, he thought about all he lost. He just moved in a month ago after getting a new job here.
I've had stuff for a long time. I found some stuff my dad gave me before he passed away a long time ago.
But he's thankful for friends who've come to his aid, and that can help you cope when you know you have to start over. That's why Ellison says he's here for his sister.
We're close like that. I'm here for her and she's here for me. So I'm glad that I can be here.
Valuing life over possessions. In Little Rock, Dustin Barnes, Fox 16 News.
Wow. Well, the firefighters are out of the hospital, and we're told that they're all doing fine. Apartment managers have relocated the victims, so they're now living in vacant units in the complex.
Garland County deputies continued their investigation after a dog mauled and killed a 5-year-old boy, as discussion is now stirring back up about the area's vicious and dangerous dog laws. The Quorum Court began talks of beefing up its ordinance after a spike in dog attacks just last summer. A subcommittee determined the vicious dog ordinance needs to be strengthened with clearer language and better tracking provisions.
No law will make irresponsible people responsible. But hopefully this will beef up and allow us to pick up any dog that's considered dangerous or in that danger zone.
The subcommittee plans to present a framework for its new plan on Monday. So far, the owner of the dog involved in Sunday's killing has not been charged with any crime.
Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin.
Yeah, it really is a week now that it feels like summer. We haven't had a whole week where we've had consistently hot temperatures, barely even really 2 days in a row where it's been really hot, but that's the case so far this week. Temperatures well up into the 90s once again, 93 degrees in Little Rock. Look at Russellville, 96 degrees, so not just near 90, but well into the 90s. You factor in the humidity, feels like about 100 degrees out there. Once we start talking about heat index values 105 and over, that's when we start talking about the heat getting into the danger category. Not quite there yet, but since we're really not too used to these kind of temperatures and this combination of humidity quite yet this season, just try to take it out there during those peak heating hours during the afternoon and early evening hours. Satellite and radar showing nothing over Arkansas, so for the rest of this evening, staying warm and dry by 10 o'clock, still in the 80s, 83 degrees, 80 at midnight. We are talking about a cold front in your 7-day forecast, but if you're looking forward to some relief from the heat, don't get too excited. I'll explain why in a few minutes.
A pre-trial hearing for the former Little Rock police officer accused of shooting a teenager and killing him. Josh Hastings faces manslaughter for the death of 15-year-old Robert Moore. The teen was reportedly breaking into cars and Hastings was called to the scene. Hastings claimed Moore tried to run him over with a car and that's why he fired his weapon. Hastings was fired from the force. Attorneys in the case have filed a number of motions for this trial, which, by the way, is scheduled to start next Tuesday.
A 70-year-old grandfather now facing sexual assault charges. Garland County deputies began investigating William Waddell after the victim's mother told her he touched her. The mom says the assault happened at the 7-year-old's grandparents' house while the mom was outside. The case under investigation.
A statewide race with no candidate suddenly has two, and both are Democrats. And Fox 16's David Goins joins us live at the Capitol to explain neither has served in a state-level elected office. So this should be interesting, David.
Well, it certainly can be, Donna. It sounds a bit unusual, two people without statewide elected office, but for the lieutenant governor, we actually have seen this before. Now, the candidates, both Democrats right now, Diane Curry and John Burkhalter. Burkhalter, a small business owner who has enough resources that he'll be able to pay for the campaign, or at least a part of it, on his own through his own expenses. He is also on the highly sought-after State Highway Commission. Diane Curry, no stranger to Little Rock education. She was elected to the Little Rock School Board in 2006 and most recently in 2012 elected as school board president. She told Fox 16 today she believes that type of experience here in Little Rock can translate statewide.
I feel that I've been in the public. I feel that people will listen to me. I've gotten very good feedback from around the state, and I'm excited about the opportunity to get out and meet more people and get their feedback on what they would like to see.
When you boil it down, I want to spend all of my time using the best skill set I have to create jobs and help others create jobs in this state. It's what I'm best at. It's what I know.
Now, Burkhalter only making himself available to reporters today via that conference call late this afternoon. He did say as his campaign continues, he will make himself available for some television interviews. Live at the state capitol, David Goins, Fox 16 News.
All right, well, David, we have two candidates. Both are Democrats. What about the Republican side? Have we heard from anyone at all?
Well, Mark Darr obviously is the lieutenant governor. He hasn't said definitively what his plans are for 2014. Donna, there is a sense it's possible he could seek another seat if the person who holds that seat seeks another seat. So a little bit of a domino effect potentially on the Republican side. We'll wait and see.
Okay, all right, we'll be checking it out. David, thanks.
Plenty of time to sort it all out, huh?
That is true.
Well, you've probably tried them all, listing all the U.S. presidents, holding your breath, or maybe even eating to get rid of hiccups. Coming up, a doctor narrows down the best ways to get rid of those nagging hiccups.
Plus, we know breastfeeding is good for both baby and mom. See the big changes helping parents afford breastfeeding products and consultations next.
You're watching Fox 16 News at 5:30 with Donna Terrell, Kevin Kelly, sports with Wes Moore, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin. This is Fox 16 News at 5:30.